Sleeves here with the Senior Pickleball Report, powered by TNC Network. Let's get it going. Today in our People of Pickleball episode, we are speaking with the top 3 finishing teams of the National Pickleball League, Champions League, Senior Pros. We speak with the ownership of the top 3 finishing teams, and those are the Houston Hammers, the Columbus Hotshots, and of course the champions, the Boca Raton Picklers. But before we get to that, if you like all this content, consider subscribing to the channel. Check out our newsletter to keep up with all things in the Pickleverse. Subscribe to it. And hey, we got a ton of discounts below of all the products we talk about and review, so look at those as well. And check out our merch. Hey, where's some sleeve stuff? All right, let's get to those interviews, starting with the Houston Hammers. From the Houston Hammers ownership team, back again on the Senior Pickleball Report. Welcome back, Dr. Rommie Maxey. Good to see you, man.
Hey, great to see you, Mike. I'm happy to be on the best senior pickleball podcast in the country, baby.
One of the few, but we'll take it. And I appreciate the props. It was great to see you in person a little bit briefly at TippleCon, and we can talk about that a little bit once we get to that part of the season. But, you get into this league and you got to you got to draft, and you hope for the best in the draft because, obviously there's relationships that need to be built and see if they work out. And I mean, regular season, you guys heck of a start out of the gate. So talk about really kind of walk us through your regular season, because you guys, you were in the money a lot, and it puts you in a great position for the playoffs, which we'll talk about in a little bit.
Mike, we did. We started out really well, and the team gelled early and had a lot of excitement. We had some great people on our team. Mary Beth Hinthorn, for example, she's a professor at Texas A&M and also a great person, and she's a team builder. And so we had team building exercises that were actually strange sometimes and fun, but it was really a great experience for everybody to come together because, you're bringing together 16 people, and for the most parts, they don't really know each other. They may have some acquaintances and maybe they played a little bit together along the way, but it's 16 brand new people, and bringing those individual personalities together and try to form a team is a challenge. So I give a lot of credit to the whole team, but Mary Beth in general, that she helped bring us together, and it was really exciting times. We played very well early, and yes, and we were in the money 4 out of the 6 events, which is the most that anyone did, and so that was cool. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, and you got yourself a bye in the first round, which I think is very important. Long season. We're not youngsters anymore, so any rest the body can get and mind can get, I think, is beneficial. And you get to the playoffs, and you get your first round against OKC, who pulled an upset, in their opening round against Coachella. And when teams pull upsets, they have some momentum, and plus they've already played. So talk about your first round match against them and what went into that.
Well, it was kind of interesting. And to go back to what you said about the bye, we didn't realize how important that actually turned out to be, because if you looked at the finals, the 4 teams that had the bye ended up in the championship, in the final 4 teams. So as you said before, being over 50 can be problematic as far as the stamina that you have moving forward. So I think having a bye was certainly instrumental in us having an opportunity maybe to move forward in that regard. So OKC, we came off a very poor outing at Houston. I'll go ahead and say that. We tried some different lineups, and we thought we'd see if those things might work, and they didn't, but that's okay. And so we came into, quite honestly, we came into Cincinnati to make a statement, that the Hammers are back. And we did that, unfortunately, a little bit to OKC's misfortune, because they took a kind of a beating, but it was not. It was still competitive. They played some very close matches. They're a very good team, but we were making a statement. We're back, and we played very, very well. And and it ended up being a marginal defeat. But it set us up for a really good semifinal match with Columbus.
Yeah, you play Columbus, and you play them in the seasons a couple times, and as the saying goes, and it was brought up by Jeff as well, it's hard sometimes to beat a team 3 times as they had to play Boca. What was your matchup against Columbus during the season like?
Well, we had some success against Columbus, and again, very good team, very good ownership, good people, and we had some success against them. But and we knew it was going to be a battle. And our strength this past year was really in mixed. So we always felt like if we could stay close in gender play, if we were 3-3, something like that, that we were probably in pretty good shape to finish it out, because we were really, really strong in our mixed play. And as it turned out, though, we came out of we were 1-4 to start the day, and 2 of those matches were lost in 3-game sets, and we lost the third game 11-10. So at any point in time, had we just got one more point, we wouldn't even have been we would have actually beaten Columbus. And of course, but give them credit, they played well. They got the 11th point. And so we were down significantly, and it looked like it was almost going to be a runaway for Columbus. And then we hit mixed, and here came the Hammers, and it was really exciting. We came back and won 5 out of the 6, and we got ourselves in position actually to win it. We were playing in the last game. If we win the last game match, then we would have won it 7-5. And they won, and it went 6-6. We went into a tiebreaker, and they did better in the tiebreaker than we did, and they advanced on to the championship. And again, credit to them. And it was really, really close, and it was a lot of fun. It was a great battle.
Yeah, I mean, I think it gives, it says a lot about the league when, I think people often forget these games to 11 are 1 point games. It's pretty much sudden death once you get to 10. And to have it come down to, the entire season, all the regular season into the playoffs, and then you get to these matches and they're decided by literally a single point. And, you think of all the tape shots here, the lines there, the miss serve here, whatever it happens to be, and to get yourself into a team breaker. And then those things on some level can be a crapshoot because, it's people shifting in and shifting out, and a lot of strategy put into that. I think, obviously hold your head up high because you put yourself in a position to win, and that's all you can ask of your team. And God, I've mentioned several times, first year out of the gate and you're on the podium, only obviously things to look forward to as it continues. So, you got to recover from that, and you still got to play a match. And so talk about playing a team that, one of the OG teams, 1 year ahead of you guys, Denver. Talk about that match and how that went.
That was really a fun deal. Again, you had to kind of, oh my gosh, we maybe could have, should have, would have been up in the championship, and to face that type of defeat in a team breaker, and then to have the resilience to come back the next day and still have enough fortitude to get out there and say, okay, look, we're still battling for third place. We got to go.
Right.
And
get it done.
We could have just said, you know what, doggone it, we lost out. But no, they didn't. And the team really came together, played their hearts out. Again, it came down to a final game. It was being played, and there was 2 games going on at the same time. And within 10 seconds of each other, one ended and the other ended. And the first one that we won actually won it for us 7-5, and so that was kind of. And then the next one happened, and so we said, well, who gets credit for actually winning it? And so it was 10 seconds apart. It was kind of fun, but that was what a battle. I mean, Princeton played Denver. Played their hearts out and didn't quit, and it was the dramatic match in the end, and we were excited to come out ahead, of course, but it was great. And as it turns out, again, as the seeding went into the weekend, it finished exactly like that. Boca, Columbus, us, Denver. So that was kind of an interesting side note too.
Yeah, absolutely. So, first season under the belt, so to speak. Give me, before we let you go here, some things some highlights, things you're reflecting on, and also looking forward to.
Well, there's a couple of things, we're dealing with as far as the league is concerned right now, and then that's if we're going to have keepers next year, which could kind of be exciting. And the
Yep.
discussion is somewhere between 2 and 5, and we haven't finished that process yet. But again, that would give us an opportunity to maybe have somewhat of a nucleus leading
Right.
forward to next year, which would be kind of nice. That determines some things as far as the draft's concerned. If we, have more females than males, now we got to dress, whatever
Right.
the case may be. So those games are exciting. I said this earlier, and I don't know if it was on the tape, but the NPL in itself is, I say it's the best thing since cotton candy for 50 and over players at that level. I mean, it's so fun. It's so good. The team concept is just dramatically different than going just with a partner to a tournament. And and so everybody's pulling for each other. They're cheering for each other. You're going to dinner with each other later. And then a lot of times, many of these players will either play together or they might play against each other 2 weeks later in a APP or a PPA.
Right.
So it's kind of an interesting format, but they're best friends during that NPL event, and that's exciting. So yeah, leading into 25, we're excited. We think we're going to be bigger and better, and we got to, make some choices on some good draft picks. The combines are going to be vital. Those combines, because all those 49-year-olds that are turning 50 in January, they're coming in, and you're going to see some new players. You're going to be going, oh my gosh, that lady or that guy can play. And that's somebody we are interested in. And of course, you're keeping it a secret. We tell them to pull a hamstring on Sunday. Don't come back. We got you.
Right.
But no, it's exciting times. We're looking forward to it, and the Hammers are alive and well, and we're hoping to come back next year and try to do a repeat, maybe a little better.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, congratulations. First year, man, you make the podium, so to speak, and nearly in the final. And then, you close the deal on the third place match, which shows some resilience and some, obviously, culture that's been built in your organization. So congratulations on that. And I always tell folks, if you get a chance to come out and see it, it's incredible in person. If, we were at PickleCon together, and I think there was a new set of eyes, so to speak, kind of on your league. And I was sitting in the stands on the grandstand court, and you can just hear behind me, like, holy cow, like these are 50 plus. I'm like, yeah,
really good.
It's no joke.
The surprising level of play, I think, to some people would be astonishing. It's really good play. Outstanding.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, hey, great to have you on the show. Hope to have you again next year. Maybe be the champs, and we can do this again. Thanks again for your time, Rommie. I appreciate it.
Hey, Mike, always a pleasure, and really enjoy your program, and best of luck to you as well.
We'll be right back with Jeff McKnight of the Columbus Hotshots. Pickleball International is excited to announce the launch of its 2025 pickleball cruise season, set to embark on a luxurious journey to Baja, Mexico, kicking off with a 3-day getaway to Ensenada from June 17th to 20th, followed by a 5-night escape to Cabo San Lucas from June 20th to 25th. This unique cruise will offer participants the chance to enjoy breathtaking coastal views while engaging in their favorite sport. With world-class amenities and indoor pickleball courts provided by Royal Caribbean Cruise Line, this is an unmissable opportunity for pickleball enthusiasts to combine leisure and competition in a stunning setting. For more details on this exciting sports adventure, the link is in the description. Hey, if you're looking for very, very comfortable court shoes, in fact, the most comfortable court shoes I've ever worn, and I've worn a lot of them over the years playing different sports, try Fitville. We have a link in the description that gets you $20 off your purchase.
Are you a devoted pickleball enthusiast in search of top-notch gear and services? Look no further than Sleeve's affiliate shop, your ultimate destination for all things pickleball. Not only will you discover an impressive selection of Sleeve-specific merch gear, but you'll also get the chance to explore gear and merchandise that our terrific show host, Mike Sliwa, has previously reviewed. But that's not all. At Sleeves Pickleball Affiliate and Partner Shop, you'll find links to our friends of the show who offer pickleball-specific online stores, apps, and services. By stopping by and checking out our extraordinary collection, you not only enhance your game, but also show your support for our show, Sleeves Senior Pickleball Report. So why wait? Join us in celebrating the love for pickleball and dive into a world of top-notch gear and services.
Hey, Jeff McKnight, welcome back to the Senior Pickleball Report.
Yeah, Mike, thanks for having me. I appreciate you letting me get back on.
Yeah, well, absolutely. You earned it. First year in the league, taking it by storm, and we'll get to the playoffs in a minute. But let's start, obviously, with the work to get to the playoffs. And we talked prior to the season starting, and all teams have sort of their hopes and dreams of what's going to come to fruition. But you really don't know until obviously you get out there and you start seeing how the relationships between the teams work within your own team, the dynamics and all of that as well. So talk about kind of take us through your regular season and some of the highlights and challenges getting to the playoffs.
Okay, yeah, it started with the draft. We back in April, we felt like we had drafted a really strong team, really balanced team. We felt we were strong on top, but strong all the way through the bottom with men and women on our roster. So that's kind of how it worked out. We started the regular season in Chicago. We went 4-0 for that weekend. Cincinnati was Columbus was weekend 2. That was a little bit of a challenge. John Hedberg was away in Europe, so we kind of shuffled the lineup around a little bit, and so we went 1-3 that weekend. But it was one of those things. Our record wasn't the best, but we learned some things about our team, and from that point on, we shifted the lineup around a little bit to kind of accentuate some of our strengths on the team. So we, the next weekend in Cincinnati, we ended up 4-0 again. So we ended up in the regular season. There were 5 regular season weekends, and we went undefeated in 3 of those weekends. We were happy with that. We saw you in Kansas City, and we started out on Kansas City. That was weekend 4. We started out 2-0 on Saturday, but we lost both of our Sunday matches in Kansas City, so we didn't. But this league, that's what I love about the NPL. You could think you've got it figured out, but there are so many top players and really good players throughout the entire league. So you let down your guard a little bit. There's gonna be players gunning for you, and they're gonna try to win as much as everybody else. So we were definitely happy with the regular season. We ended up 15-5 for the regular season, and finished second place overall in the regular season.
Yeah, I mean, if somebody would have told you that preseason, you go, "I'll take that." I mean, holy cow! It's obviously it starts with the draft, and you guys drafted very well. And I'm not asking you to give away any secret sauce here. So obviously that took you into week 1 where you just were lights out, and I mean, 5 losses on the whole season. Anybody would take that. And phenomenal regular season. So you get into playoffs, you earn the bye, obviously, first round bye. But then it gets tough. You got another new team that's really talented in Kansas City. So talk a little bit about that matchup.
Yeah, Kansas City, they're as tough as anybody. I had them ranked pretty high just on my draft result sheet. So again, a lot of this is a lot of the NPL regular season goes down to injuries or who's available for the weekend, because some people already have previously scheduled vacations. So Kansas City dealt with a little of that, same as we did early on in the year. So I knew they would be primed for the playoffs. So they beat Austin in the first round of the playoffs, and the only time we played Kansas City in the regular season, it went to a team breaker that we were fortunate to win. So we knew they would be a really tough matchup, and we went. We were able to squeak it out. We won 7-5 on the Friday night of the playoffs to advance to the next round. But yeah, they were strong, top to bottom. Their women are really strong, and they're led by Daryl Wyatt, David George. The line one guys are tough. Jen Dawson, all up and down their lineup. They were. We knew they were going to be a tough matchup. We knew that we needed to win however we could Friday night, and we were able to squeak out the victory.
Yeah, absolutely. You named some of the players on their roster, and it's a who's who of pickleball. Past, present, and future. So, yeah, great win, squeaked it out there. But then, you mentioned Team Breaker, and you run into Houston in the semis. And so, talk about that nail biter.
Yeah, so Houston was, we played Houston. We in Columbus, and we lost to them in a Team Breaker, and then we were able to get the win in Houston at Houston on weekend 5. So we were 1-1 with them on the regular season. And, Houston, of course, is led by Sherry Corder, who is from Columbus, Ohio. So, we knew she would be gunning for us, and they were a top team. They were a top team all season. Yeah. So we knew that would be another tough matchup. They had some people in their lineup that weren't available when we played them in Houston. So we knew you can't really take – you got to go each matchup is different. So right. We actually jumped out on a lead in that match. We were up 5-2, just needing best whoever gets to 7 first wins. So right. We were feeling fairly confident, but we knew that they were going to, on the mixed matchups, they were going to play as hard as they could, and that's what happened. So they won the next 4 mixed matchups, got up on us 6-5. And so we came down to the very last match of our top pod mixed of Chris Headings and Natalie Bagby against Sherry Corder and Rich Lopez. So that was a classic match. It was a great battle. We were able to pull that one out. Natalie and Chris both played lights out. All 4 players played lights out, but Natalie really stepped it up that match for us, and helped us get a chance to advance to the Team Breaker, which we did. And so it was I consulted with John Hedberg's kind of on our team. He's kind of a intellectual and really tries to figure things out, not just in his play, but also on the Team Breaker situations and things like that. So we worked together all year and trying to, get our lineup just right for the Team Breaker. So we felt pretty confident going into the Team Breaker that we had a good Team Breaker lineup set. And then we were able to, our pod 3 women, Beth Olivier and Renee Chang, were able to get the 2-0 lead, and we were just able to build on the lead from there and close out the Team Breaker to advance.
Yeah, I mean, I think you brought up a couple of great points. You have personnel. This isn't all on you. Obviously, you can pick the minds of your roster, because you have a lot of people like, obviously Natalie, a legend in the game, somebody you want in the clutch situation. She's been there so many times and come out on top. And then obviously John, who has the mind for this. It's nice to know that you can just sort of pull from these folks all around you. And it is a complete team effort. It's not you just picking a lineup and going, well, go get them. All season. And as you mentioned, moving parts, people that are not there, people who are there, and cohesion obviously is something that y'all really kind of hit out of the park year one. And I think that says a lot for ownership and in the approach that you and your dad took. So kudos to that. And
thank you.
Obviously gets you to the finals against a team who's obviously been probably the most steady all season. Finished number 1 regular season. Boca, they finished 3rd last season in the playoffs. So they had been there, so to speak. So talk about going up against, Rick and Carl's squad.
Yeah, we knew that we felt, we had 2 battles on Friday and Saturday that both could have went either way. So we were fortunate to advance to the finals. We had gone 2-0. We'd won both of our matchups against Boca in the regular season. First one was in weekend 2 in Columbus, but kind of we kind of threw that out. We just played them in Kansas City, and we beat them 7-5 in Kansas City. And we knew we were going to have similar lineups than we did in Kansas City.
Right.
But you know how it is, that sports cliche. It's hard to beat a team 3 times in a season, and
It
so
is.
we had the 2. You knew that they were going to be fired up, and they have a great team with Bircha leading it, and they were tough, extremely tough. So they came out fired up Sunday morning, and they really took it to us. So all credit to them. They played really well. I thought our team played well, but they kind of took it to another level. And the all credit to them. They stepped on the gas right away and jumped out on a big lead, and took home the championship. So we came up a little short this year.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, first season, you get finish second regular season, you finish second in the playoffs out of 12 teams, as you mentioned, 12 teams that are pretty evenly stacked. If you look at all the lineups and people just read through the names of who's who, you're like, good luck picking who's going to win. And those of us from the outside, it's even more, it seems even more tighter because we don't know all the inner stories between, teams and relationships and all that kind of stuff. So well done. I mean, so you got, the off season here. Talk about what you're looking forward to and some things you may do or do not do differently in 2025 for the NPL season. Obviously, there may be some new teams as well.
Yeah, there might be some new teams. So that's what we really wanted to. We thought we had a strong team, and we did have a strong team. We finished second, came up a little short. So yeah, I'm kind of in the process of evaluating how things went this year, maybe what we could have done a little different. We reached out to our team. We've got a great team, and said, anything you can feedback you can give us as owners, first year owners, that we can maybe improve on, not just the play or the lineups or just your weekend experience in general. So, but I think overall everyone had a pretty happy with the season, happy how the season went on our team. But we're definitely reevaluating. Actually, today I was kind of looking over the draft results from last year, and and a lot of that was based on some rankings, and with the NPL just in its second year and a lot of new players in the league, that was kind of a ranking system that was everyone's best approximation of players. But a lot of players came on this year that will have higher rankings next year if they decide to play again. And then there'll be new players in the league and things like that. So there'll be some hidden secrets that people will try to, and then no one will know about except maybe regionally. So it's all fun. I love all of it. It's all fun to look back. But one thing that we do want to do, we want to have a local combine in the Columbus area where we've got a lot of great players that are 45 and older. We got a lot of great players at any age, but especially 45 and older that might be looking to see kind of where do I evaluate within the NPL, maybe look to play in it now or when they turn 50. So we want to do something like that to get our players, not just in Columbus, but around Ohio or the Midwest, that come over for a little tryout combine that they can kind of experience what the NPL's combine is. And maybe the winner from that gets to go on to the NPL combine and things like that. So we want to use this off season. The first year we kind of focused on building the team and awareness around the Columbus area. We're reaching out, using this off season to kind of continue to get the name out there, look for potential partners within the Columbus community that we can, possibly sponsorship or dual events on and things like that. So there's a lot of work that we have before the draft combines and the draft rolls around next year, but it's all fun. It's all pickleball. You can't have a bad day when you're messing with pickleball. So.
Exactly. Now that's the attitude I like to hear. And I could tell, I obviously interviewed you at the beginning of the year. We saw you at PickleCon, got to meet your dad. You guys are having a blast, and that's what this is all about.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. My dad, it's been exceeded our expectations that we did something we're investing in the long-term growth of pickleball, but it's also, it's a way for us to get together. He has his travels and is down in Florida quite a bit. So we know for at least 6 weekends plus the combine that we're going to be together with our team that we picked. Hopefully there's a lot of people that played our team this year will be on our team continue, future years, hopefully. but that's all part of the experience, and you meet new people and things like that. So we've had a blast all year. I can't say enough about the National Pickleball League. Anybody that wants to play a high level pickleball, whether you make the league or not, it at least gives you a chance to evaluate yourself to see where you stack up with players. And if you like playing pickleball and want to continue to work on your game, it gives you a goal when you're 50 and over that you can be part of that community again, whether you make the league or not. So I love everything about it, and it's been a great experience.
Yeah, well said, Jeff, and congratulations on, I mean, dynamite year, really. Debut year, and I think big things are coming. You guys have the right attitude, and that's what's important. I think people like to play hard for you because you know what this is, and you take it serious, but you also know what it is. So congratulations.
Oh, thanks a lot. I appreciate it. I appreciate all your support of senior pickleball.
After the break, we have a chat with NPL champions, the Boca Raton Picklers.
Are you looking to stay up to date on the latest pickleball news and tips? Look no further than the Sleeves Senior Pickleball Report newsletter. Get the scoop on the sport, learn how to stay healthy while playing, and find out about upcoming tournaments. Subscribe now to get all the pickleball info you need.
Are you looking for news that is both informative and inspiring? Look no further than STM Daily News. We provide stories and articles that provide insight without any sensationalism, doom and gloom, or partisan politics. With STM Daily News, you can stay up to date on what matters most in everyday life. Get informed, inspired, and stay in the know with STM Daily News. That's stmdailynews.com. The link is in the description.
New paddle company, Pickle, PCKL, great paddle line, great price points. Anything you want from starter paddle to intermediate to a pro series high level paddle. Check them out. Get 15% off using my discount code. Pickle. It's the future.
All right, folks, we have the regular season and playoff champion, Boca Raton Picklers. We have some of the, obviously the ownership is here, and we have some players, general managers and leaders of the team, and we will talk the whole season through here, but we're going to start by welcoming everybody. We got Rick, Carl, Mircha, and Kara. Welcome to the Senior Pickleball Report.
Thanks you so much for having us.
Thanks for having us.
You bet. I've had Rick and Carl on before, and they're they're kind of a pain in the ass, but we'll start with them. Mm-hmm. And I was at the finals last year in Glendale in the incredibly difficult lighting of the Chicken and Pickle, which took forever to adjust to get to the final match. And I would say Boca sort of gained a little momentum at the end of the season there and finished third. They were not pretty. They didn't seem real happy with how the regular season went. There were some ups and downs, and that happens in a season. But Rick and Carl kind of walked me through the end of last season and what you were planning for with the draft, because you get a fresh start. So let's talk about the end of last season and going into the draft and what kind of moves you were looking to make.
Go ahead, Carl.
All right. Well, the last season, the key word was drama. So we started out with our number one pick, Steve Kennedy, and in the draft. And then after the press conference, he went to the doctor and had to get surgery and was lost for the season. So we immediately started out with our number one draft pick gone for the year. So it was scramble time right away. And we actually were able to pick up Paul Olin as a substitute for a few matches. Make all of the things develop there. We had injuries, a couple players on the team. So we struggled the regular season. I think we finished last in the regular season, but we were able to pick up towards the end of the year. Scott Johnston and Saad Ibsais were available. They'd been playing as subs throughout the season for other teams. And when we had our injuries, we were able to Paul Olin left, we were able to pick up a top player, and they came in right at the end of the season, and we went into the playoffs really with no pressure. I mean, it was just a matter of Rick and I said, we just don't want to finish last. we don't want to finish last. So we ended up losing to Indy in the first match in the playoffs. We ended up winning the championship in a close match. And then we upset JBB Naples. And then we beat Denver for the bronze. So we finished high note in the money. And it was a great ending to a dismal regular season we forgot totally about when you get to the playoffs. So that was 2023 in a nutshell. And we learned a lot. We were putting our lineups together, consulting with our top player. Jennifer Dawson was very instrumental in helping us, like Kara is right now this past season. She was helping us with the women as the captain. And we really didn't have a men's captain. So Rick and I sort of took that on and tried to use our limited expertise with the senior pros to set the lineups and so forth. And we said at the end of the season, we don't want to do this again. So we decided said, our plan was, we know Murcher from Boca, plays in our area. We knew he was coaching a lot of players, and we had talked to Murcher, and, if he was going to play in the season, he filled in a couple substitutes last year for a couple teams. And so, our plan was if we could get Murcher, we wanted to get a top player to help us with the draft and to really coach and captain a team because, we're business. Rick's an attorney. I run business and events. We have our own businesses. It's not a full-time job running the Picklers. So that was the game plan. And I'll let Rick take it over from there as far as the draft when we were able to, lock in Murcher Murario to assist us. And the luck of the draw is we were able to get him in the first round because we couldn't, if we didn't get him, he wasn't going to be able to help us if somebody else took him before. Yeah. So we had a calculated risk there, but it all worked out, and the rest is history.
So just go ahead, please.
Yeah, Rick. So obviously, you had a game plan going in, and one of the things that which Carl talked about was to sort of eliminate the drama and have a little bit of a buffer between you and the players in making decisions on, for everything, because obviously, when you're at an event, people are constantly coming up to you and expecting you to do things and sometimes pull off miracles. So talk about, did you sleep better this season, Rick?
Like a baby. And I just want to preface by saying that we had a lot of good friends in that team, and we were really proud of that team. And we really loved a lot of the players in that team were still family to us. And we had a lot of good times with that team. But definitely, Murcha was a game changer for us, and we knew what we wanted. We just didn't know if we were able to accomplish that with him because he's a top player. He was there was a lot of posturing between the teams. We had the 7th pick, so we weren't sure if they were going to so everybody kind of was posturing. So we actually spent a lot of time with Murcha before the draft. I mean, these guys, and I give credit to Brian Levine, who was on the side with us, and Murcha just knew all of the things that he wanted to accomplish. And I won't get into the particulars of some of the cool things that he was requiring of our players. But they spent a lot of time with the draft list, and we had a game plan. And man, he went to work like a master, and he put this whole team together. And I tell everybody every day, him and Kara basically were the glue to our team. And at some point, we got to give a shout out to every player in our team because they, from the top to the bottom, were equally important in every point. And Murcha and Kara continue to instill that in our team. And that's how we became together. And literally, Carl and I, as you said, we did not much. I think we were responsible for the lunches to make sure that the orders were then after Murcha took care of it all. I mean, this was their team, and they did it all on their own. We take zero credit. They're just awesome. And I'll let Murcha and Kara talk.
Yeah, so Murcha, you didn't play first season. I subbed a little bit, and you're a top player coming in. A lot of people obviously know you've been very successful on, the APP, the PTA. People know who you are. You've helped coach the Johnsons and things like that. So well-known figure. Little bit of pressure coming in because there's obviously expectations. So talk first briefly about the draft and sort of your I guess, basic idea behind it. And then kind of take us into that first, first season match and where your head was at.
Mm-hmm. Well, the first step, which was the most important, was obviously the draft. And, again, while, I'm very grateful for the credit, I also have to give credit to Rick and Carl, because they completely, held up their end in terms of the word that, the words that they had promised me. They totally stuck to their word. They wanted basically to have me kind of, work to look at the players, analyze the players, the ones I know and the ones I don't, I did research on. So, and they allowed me, free reign to pick the players. And what I was looking for was, in terms of the men and the women, were both, generally athletic people that could move. And the older you get, the more difficult it is to move. And so we had very, very athletic players, kind of top to bottom. And we also had players that were flexible, that could play either side. I really wanted, especially men that could move and mix, and they could take up a lot of court, and players that could play both the right and the left. And then one of the biggest things was just people that were great people. Because one of the issues I knew they had last year was a lot of conflict sometimes on the team. And obviously when you're not doing well, that generates some conflict. But I really wanted people that I generally knew, and they didn't have to be rah-rah people. They were just people that I knew would be positive influences on their partners, that could play with other people respectfully and positively, and would generally be part of a team, and try to come up with a team word. And the one that really, like, we all that I liked the best was together. And that, we ended up choosing that as our team word, because if the bottom part of the team doesn't win and the top wins, it doesn't do us any good. Like, we all have to kind of work together, row in the same boat. We all wanted to get better and better over the course of the year. And that was really my thing, was to really get to know each other, to try to gel as much as we can, and just to try to get a little bit better every week in terms of game plan, shot selection, things we worked on. And, everyone worked really hard at their games. And I felt towards the end of the year, everyone, started improving their shot selection, improving their consistent strategy, sticking to the strategy. So that was really, kind of my goal, just to get a little bit better for each of us every week, each and every one of us.
Yeah. Yeah. And obviously mission accomplished, and well done, because you were very consistent all season. I mean, you look at your record in the regular season, and you look in the playoffs and what you did under pressure, because there was an expectation, obviously, finishing first in the regular season and taking that title, and then trying to back it up with the playoff title. Kara, talk to me a little bit about the regular season, and because it's once a month, so there are going to be off times. You're going to have a good month somewhere, and then sometimes you're going to run into a loss or two here and there. And so, kind of take me through the ebb and flow of your where your head was at during the season, and the team as well, because although you're highly successful all year, there were some matches dropped, and I'm sure as any team and community goes through, there's a little bit of ups and downs. So talk to me about that a little bit.
Yeah. Well, first of all, a shout out to Mircea. I mean, he drafted a great team, and he's so smart. Number one, he was smart to ask me to be his co-captain, of course.
Right.
And
smart.
And I think we just worked really well together. I think that was a smart move, because Mircea is really good with the strategy. He's just like a scientist with it. I mean, you ask him any player in the NPL, he knows. And if he doesn't know, he'll quickly find out. I mean, that's just huge. And then we go over film in between the months, and he'd call it. And for example, he called Audra and I, and we all watched a match and we reviewed it, and he's just like picking on these little things. So that was an amazing addition. We wanted a different word, believe, and he said together, and I think it was just perfect. And then, as far as the season, I mean, I feel like what I brought was I'm really into chemistry and working as a team. And so let's talk about the very first one was Chicago. We're all just trying to get to know each other. And I mean, we had people with different people. I mean, there's different teams from Chicago to the very last match we had.
Yeah.
And I think, what Mircea did was try to put the games that go together. And then I really, I can look at a team, and if they're not gelling and they're like two individuals, I went and I talked to them, and either they had to come together and talk, tap paddle, whatever it is, or, I talked to them privately. And if it just wasn't a match, sometimes you're just not a match with someone, and
Sure,
that's okay.
for sure.
And so, Chicago was definitely, let's feel things out. And I don't remember what place we got in, but we went along. And then I feel like Kansas City was like right in the middle. And that was our low point. We just some things happened with teams, and that's when actually Rick came in, and Rick said he did nothing, but he had a really, really good motivational speech. I mean, usually it was Mircea and I giving our speeches, but Rick came in, and as you know, with any team, if you don't have a low, something's probably wrong. And that's when you learn the most from getting down low and losing. And that's what happened in Kansas City. And it was awesome, because then we could see, oh, those two didn't work well together. Those two people went home, practiced even more. And then what was after Kansas City, Mircea? What was next?
Houston?
Was that the one that we won next?
Cincinnati, I think, first.
Cincinnati. And then
Cincinnati, I think,
correct?
then Houston. Yeah.
Oh, no, I thought Cincinnati was before.
Or maybe it's the other way around.
It is.
I think it was the other way around.
And what I do love is that before Kansas City was Cincinnati. And I mean, not many people know until I told them. I had the worst weekend. I mean, one day I went 0-4, and we won it. I mean, that's just team right there. The other people stepped up, and there was other weekends maybe I stepped up, whatever. And that's just how a team goes. And it was just beautiful how we just got better and better. And then come championship weekend, I mean, we won the season, and we all knew. I mean, we're all athletes, and we knew, okay, let's be excited about this, but let's, we're the ones to beat, and we're not going to get too cocky. We got to finish this thing. And, it was Tao a lot of times would say, do your job. You just do your job. And that was our thing, is you do your job on your match. If you need to warm up a certain way, we all had each other's back, and we all just did our job, and we were there to win it.
Our interview with the Boca Raton Picklers continues after the break.
Are you a devoted pickleball enthusiast in search of top-notch gear and services? Look no further than Sleeves Affiliate Shop, your ultimate destination for all things pickleball. Not only will you discover an impressive selection of Sleeves-specific merch gear, but you'll also get the chance to explore gear and merchandise that our terrific show host, Mike Sliwa, has previously reviewed. But that's not all. At Sleeves Pickleball Affiliate and Partner Shop, you'll find links to our friends of the show who offer pickleball-specific online stores, apps, and services. By stopping by and checking out our extraordinary collection, you not only enhance your game, but also show your support for our show, Sleeves Senior Pickleball Report. So why wait? Join us in celebrating the love for pickleball and dive into a world of top-notch gear and services.
Hey there! Are you looking for news that is informative, insightful, and inspiring? Look no further than STM Daily News, the news source you can use this moment. Our website, podcast, and newsletter cover all the news that you need to know in everyday life, minus all the hard news, doom and gloom, partisan politics, and sensationalism. With STM Daily News, you can be sure that you'll learn something new and useful by the time you're finished reading, watching, or hearing our articles and stories. So don't miss out. Check out STM Daily News today.
Yeah, and obviously, I think what maybe helped a little bit is you ran into a test right away in the playoffs. It wasn't like you could walk through. You had a tough first round match, I think, which generally in sports kind of gives you that like wake up call. Like, they're all here gunning for us. And so, Mircea, why don't you talk a little bit about that opening against, Princeton, who beats, I believe, they beat the defending champs just to get out of that round.
Yeah.
And then they got to play you, and obviously they're ready to play.
Right. They definitely were. And honestly, I just want to kind of piggyback one thing quickly about Kansas City.
Sure, go ahead.
And it was actually Kansas City was, for me, our high note. And I'll tell you why. And Kara, I don't know if you remember this at the end of the day. I said I was most proud of the team for that one because we had lost the first day, Saturday. And we bounced back and played really well and gelled great the next day. And that's when I knew we were going to win. That was the turning point of the season for me. Even though we had won Cincinnati was our high. So we won that event. We'd finished second in the other ones. And while our record was only 2-2, and it was statistically our poorest performance, it was for me the turning point of the season in terms of gelling and knowing that we could rebound from being down, and we made adjustments and people did things a little bit differently. And so for me, that was really the most positive actually that I felt after we finished one of the events. So it's kind of a matter of perspective. So I really loved that event, believe it or not, because we overcame adversity. The first round we knew would be tough because any team we played in the championship had their full roster. So in a bunch of the events leading up to the championship, there were some players that were kind of obligated to play because they had to fulfill a certain requirement. People had different schedules. So other than injuries, which certainly other teams had, each team had their full roster. So the most talented players played where they were appropriately slotted. And New Jersey had a great team. I mean, the Bruisers had a great team up, top to bottom. I mean, they're led by, Jose, Christy Demaraki, very, very tough players, tough mentally, tough physically, really, really excellent team. And so we were fortunate enough to squeak that one out 7-5. And then we ended up, kind of peaking at the end, which is, was the goal of the whole season, was to get a little bit better and better. That's why we did great in Houston. We knocked it out of the park, I felt, and then we were able to finish strong. So once we got the first round jitters a little bit, it wasn't our best match, but we were playing, it's kind of like in a tournament when, even though might be seated highly, you're playing a really good team that had just warmed up by beating another team. And so it's tough. And that's the hallmark of champions. Federer, Nadal, they've had a lot of tough, second round matches. And they pull them out. They find a way to win, even when they're not playing their best. And that's really the mark of a champion. And I couldn't be more proud of our team for that.
Yeah, absolutely. Carl, I don't want to give you, because you're kind of the guy who apparently creates bulletin board material, and I'm going to give you, I'll give you a little bait here. You guys own Denver now? Because, you just both years in the playoffs.
No, funny is because I was interviewed after we won the regular season, and they sort of put me on the spot, said, well, what teams are you guys, fearful? Right. So I said, well, overall, I said, Denver gave us a tough time. Columbus gave us a tough. We lost twice to Columbus. So obviously, and we Houston was our, I said, we're Houston's daddy. I mean, we went into Houston. we went into Houston. We were down by like 30 games behind, and I think we pickled a team 12-0. I mean, these guys came out on fire, and Houston didn't know what hit. I mean, so that's I think that woke everybody else up in the league, said, "Wow, you guys manhandled Houston." We took care of Princeton there also. Who else? We beat somebody else strong. That everybody thought that
we did indeed.
So I mean, I think that really put us on before that we were sort of under the radar, right? People weren't respecting the podcast. They were talking. They're saying, "Oh, Columbus and Houston, they're the toughest teams in the league." And every now and then, Michael Chenderson would say, "Oh, well, look out for Boca. Look out for Boca. We're under the radar." We liked, right? You always like to be under the radar, the underdogs. But then after Houston, we weren't underdogs anymore. We came out. We were the target after that point. So I sort of put bulletin board material and let you guys figure it out on the court. I didn't have to go out and play. So I was just, I knew you guys could do it. I felt that, I was hoping if we play Houston, I was worried about Columbus in the final. I thought that was a tough matchup for us. And I was rooting for Houston to be there. But when Columbus was there, I mean, we came out, smoked Denver and smoked Columbus. I mean, just unbelievable. Rick and I were like nervous as cats. I mean, like we're having, we're going out eating ice cream every night and just trying to stay solidified, because it's tough when you're not playing. When you're playing out there, you control it. Your team, you can't really, you can root them on and stuff. But we're just it was a dream season, as we said, a dream season, start to finish. And we appreciate all the players, the fun times we've had, and the relationships we built. And when players come up and say, this changed my life, they're crying. I mean, it's like literally we don't know what's going on in people's personal lives. They all have different things going on, and this brought them into a reality of, as champion pros, that competitive spirit again, and to win a national championship in the 50s and 60s. I mean, come on. I mean, this is like a second chance in life as an athlete, right? So it's pretty awesome.
Yeah. We had about a 4.5 to 5 hour celebration dinner. Not to tout our own horns, but to recognize the connections and the appreciation, and quite frankly, and I don't use this word lightly, the love we had for each other, and that was probably the highlight of the season for me, was that celebration dinner when we all shared a lot of snippets throughout the year, and how we all became closer and closer as a team, and personally, and we recognized each other in very open and honest way. So that was amazing.
Yeah, and I think that summarizes what NPL has been, at least from an outsider's perspective, for the last 2 seasons. I've gone to 3 events, and it's just different. It's different than the Open Pro events, and mainly there's several factors for that. Obviously, one is people aren't playing necessarily for their livelihood, so they have other priorities in this league, and part of that is building relationships and friendships that you've all mentioned, and I think that's what makes not only Champions Pros in general a great community, but NPL has obviously expanded that greatly and will continue to expand it as you add more teams. Before we get you all out of here, maybe just a last note from each of you, something you're taking with you out of this season, because who knows what next season looks like and where people will be and all the above. So we'll start with you, Carol. What's something you're going to take with you in the off season here, and that you cherish a little bit?
Friendships. I just got a whole new group of friends, and even if we lost together, it would have been just as great. I mean, it's just, it's amazing. Like you said, I mean, all of us have succeeded, or as a kid or college. I mean, we had a pro baseball player on our team. I mean, how cool is that? That he's coming back, to compete in a different sport. And, what's just so great about the whole group, as you said, is just like, it's all people that love what we love. And we all are so competitive. Nobody likes to lose. But
right.
Some have grandchildren, some have kids, we've got jobs. And at the end, you see most of us hugging our opponents. But in the end, it's just the bond we had with this team and the friendships I have, I'll take with me forever.
Yep.
Right. Mirsha, how about you?
Yeah, I'm gonna first of all shout out to Kara for number one putting up with me all season, but for how instrumental she was, and I told her from the beginning that I definitely cannot do it myself, and I need her help, and she stepped up in such a huge way, and she was able to to tell me to stop over coaching, and shut up when I need to. So I'm grateful for that. But along those lines is the connections and the camaraderie that we formed were incredible. I was really, really focused on that in terms of developing that over the course of the year, because it was, about the process. You can't achieve the result without putting the work and the connection and the chemistry as part of the process. So right, that's really what I'm going to take is the connections that we formed and the camaraderie that we developed that I think we all will never forget. And the pro baseball player is Peter, and he's really not a warm and fuzzy kind of guy or rah-rah kind of guy, but he's a great teammate. And he said at the end at the dinner that this team was had gelled better than any other team he'd ever been on, and that was probably one of the biggest compliments I felt that he could give us all, over the course of the year. So
right,
that's what I'm going to take away from is our statements like that.
Right, absolutely, that's very cool. Rick, how about you before we go to the guy with the trophy? What are you going to take with you?
First, I just want to give a shout out to Brian Levine, Brian Shapiro, Alan Mendelson, Peter Prodnow, Tao, Doc Redding, Audra, Tracy, Taylor, Susie, Pam, Yvonne, Jeannie, all the team. I also want to give a special shout out to this special guy who was the glue to our team. He's the funniest guy, Scott Spielberger. He is like part of this family too. And I just want to leave you with this. As we were doing the championship match, Ryan from Coachella Valley, one of the guys from the Brain Trust of Coachella, which is awesome, by the way. Total respect for all of the new owners. The NPL is just getting better by the minute right now. But he came to watch our match. And he says, I'm watching your team because I'm scouting players for next year. And I said, you know what? I could tell you one thing. Every single one of them is equally good. They are just equally awesome because they are. And that's a very important thing. Last year, when we were going to get a draft, I suggested to the owners, hey, let's do high maintenance, regular maintenance, and low maintenance. Just great players. You don't have to get into specifics. And I can tell you, every year was zero maintenance. They just played for each other. And like they said, it's all about love and being together. And at this stage in our lives, where can we create that environment? Right. To see a bunch of old farts jumping around like little kids in the middle of a, it's just this amazing experience, and it's hard to explain in words. But Sleeves, we want to thank you for everything you do and you are, and you've been with us day one. You know how much Carl and I love you, and you'll have an open invitation to come down here anytime. I know you haven't been here since spring break 1980, Fort Lauderdale.
89 games total, but whatever. I appreciate it. Carl, man with the trophy, show us the trophy a little more, put it in frame a little more there for us. There we go. Look at that.
We're getting bricks being made now, and also one for the mayor of Boca. We're planning a nice CBS watch party in Boca. We're hoping to get most of the team, try to get them in here to do a little clinic exhibition and watch our CBS Sports, because it's our championship. We can relive it with the comfort of the cocktail and just enjoying it, because there'll be no pressure. We know the outcome. Right. You take the trophy there, so we already know the outcome, and then we're invited to be in the holiday parade on December 4th, the next day. So we're going to have a vehicle in there with a little pickleball, and hopefully as many players. The mayor's going to talking about giving us a key to the city, and Rick and I were at the Historical Museum, the first ever professional team in Boca Raton, and winning not only the regular season but the championship. So there's a lot of history that will be here long after we're gone, that we're all leaving. Right. And to do it in our hometown, I mean, Rick and I, live here, grew up here. I've been here since '83. Rick's been here. He's a native of Florida, but known each other for 25 years. To be able to do this together as friends, playing tennis and basketball all our lives together, and then now playing pickleball and owning a team together and winning a national God, what else can you do? I mean, and these players, the first year we had some of the drawing where players would come to us, say, I can't play with this person. I can't play with this person. We didn't hear any of that, So we want to celebrate this. We're the championship. We're the champions until next year, until somebody takes us off the step. So Indy was the first champion. And the league's growing. We're going to have more teams next year. More coming in from tennis, the younger players coming in. They're 49, 50 years old. We're seeing them. You're seeing names now on the, I know Mercer's playing with some of these people, like Kara, in these other tournaments, and there's new names popping up every tournament. I got a tournament coming up in Boca, and I'm seeing new names that I've never even heard of these people sign up for senior pro. So I think they're catching the wind of it. So we're going to milk this. Our championship merchandise is all up right now. So I'm 72 years old. I'm the senior citizen here. So, for me, for me to just get out there and play with these guys and practice with them and be around, and the team aspect, it's just awesome. I'm looking forward to it. Like we said, somehow we're trying to figure out a way to bottle this team and keep them together, because it's hard to do something like this. I don't care what team, what draft, from start to finish. Right. We had a lot of players that played with us last year, still good friends of ours. They've been coming to us. Oh man, we want to play for the Picklers. I mean, we have so many people lined up that want to play for the Picklers. That's because of what Mercer and Kara built together. They saw the performance. I think it's just a tribute to them. And I'm just hoping, we don't know yet on keepers, and we don't know how many people we can be able to keep. But man, that's going to be the toughest thing for Rick and I, for sure. We'd like to bottle this whole team and keep them and go on the road. It's not possible, unfortunately. So, but we're gonna do our best to move on. We want to celebrate this for a while, so we'll just keep on going. So thanks, Sleeves, for all your great work too. I'm in the radio business and stuff. You do a great job, and with a great niche and focusing on what you're doing. So bringing light to the seniors, and we try to do that in our tournaments also. To pay the seniors a little bit more money, get them to come out and do something, and give them respect, because this is high level pickleball that people don't realize. So it's awesome that what they're doing.
Absolutely, it's very, very, very high level pickleball. It doesn't always come through on YouTube or on television, but I tell you, if you get there in person, you will realize very quickly the level of ball that's being played in the NPL. So. Congratulations, Kara, Mircha, Carl, Rick. I appreciate your time. Hey, maybe Boca Dynasty coming, we don't know, but enjoy your off season. And, I'll see you in person, hopefully at some events next year. And man, one hell of a run, winning the regular season and then coming through with the pressure and winning the playoffs as well. Congratulations.
Thanks for listening today, folks. Fantastic season, and can't wait for the 2025 campaign of the National Pickleball League. Get out there and see some senior pro ball. It's unbelievable in person. So congratulations again to the Houston Hammers, the Columbus Hotshots, and of course, the Boca Raton Picklers for winning the regular season and the championship playoff run as well. All right, till next time, folks. Hey, let's pickle.